Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Mythgard in Middle-earth. My name is Corey Olsen, the Tolkien Professor, joined as always by my friend Gryfflet, who is standing waiting eagerly for his opportunity to have a second go at this instance for what I think is the culmination of Nargothrond, of the Nargothrond quest lines. So we will see. Good to be back with you guys again, 2 weeks in a row. Though sorry I'm late today. I was late today because I was being a good boy and meeting my mother this morning. It's actually my birthday soon, so my mom wanted to hang out with me today. So I was hanging out with my mom, and it's not always easy to break free from that. So I was a few minutes late anyway, and then I had Windows issues after that. So combination of things led me to be a little bit later than normal today. So sorry for that. But here we are. And I'm excited because I feel confident that we are going to finish Nargothrond and therefore Talath Urui today. I'm going to have another go at this instance and hopefully do a better job with my brand new burglar skills that I still am kind of unfamiliar with. And then I will, because then I think, and I have one more singed page to find. And I'm pretty sure I know where it is by process of elimination. So if I don't find it, I don't know if you can find it in the instance. If you can't find it in the instance, then I know where to fetch it afterwards. And then I think we'll be done and ready to move on to whatever, Agarnaith, right? Isn't that what it is? Agarnaith, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I don't think the stream is lagging, but Lotro has been lagging since I booted it up here. So I hope that's not going to create many problems here today. I don't know if it's a relic of, like, if my system is, I just like rebooted everything and sometimes it takes time to warm up. Who knows? But anyway, hopefully it won't create a big issue. There have been some lag issues of late. Okay. Yeah, it must be. Not likely a me thing? Okay. Wasn't sure. Anyway, all right. Isnír, who is far from Nargothrond and unexpectedly for some reason takes me there.
We must learn more about Nargothrond.
Okay. We're gonna learn more. First through this instance and then through story time, which will come soon after that, I hope. All right, let's do this. Doing the instance again.
Nargothrond, realm of Borangos, entrenched with otherworldly fires, houses more mysteries than the answers for which Isnír seeks.
Right. Okay, so last time I wasn't... Do I have to, in fact, kill all these guys? Because I thought I did last time, but then the fire was still there, and it turned out I just had to... So anyway, I'm gonna see again what happens here. I'm gonna run a little experiment on just running through firegrams here. Okay, no, I'm getting trapped and fried. Okay. Well, so I wanted to check. Oh, right. I'm right here by Isfar again. Okay. All right. I'll do it methodically. We're fine. I just wanted to be confident. Hey, Amir. Your Majesty. What's going on? While I do this instance patiently and methodically, I am... let me answer. There was a lore question that came in last time. And yes, it should be Amir King. It's true. It's true. But anyway, a question came in last time from Hordrarik. How do I feel that we enter Mordor after destroying the ring and not, being the last event in the area. Like, what do I think about the Mordor storyline basically being a post-War of the Ring story instead of being a culminating in the War of the Ring story? I will admit that I think I like it on balance, really. And let me explain why I like it. First of all, I have always liked the overall concept, the fundamental sort of initial conception of how Lotro and its quests and the PCs and their relationship to the story, like how all of that is handled in Lotro, I've always strongly admired. And that is to say, to be explicit about it, the thing I have admired about it is the way in which it keeps the ongoing narrative of the game in touch with the Lord of the Rings story, yet without and yet it does so without the simply just kind of slavishly following the story. I've always disliked games which were simply like, here's the story like the movie you watch. Here's the video game of the movie where you're going through and seeing like a replication of the same scenery and you're playing the main characters and you're just doing the story, right? I mean, I've always said, if this were just like a game where everybody plays Frodo or whatever, you know, and just does the story of the Lord of the Rings, that would be cool. Like, don't get me wrong. Like there's a strong attraction to that. And yet it would be extremely limited. I would have played it for like a month and I'd be done with it. 'Cause I know that story, you know, and that story has some serious limits. Okay, let's see, here we are. Whew, okay. Stop, drop, and roll there, Gryfflet, and then we can get in. Okay. The way in which they have succeeded in making not just like the world of Middle-earth, and of course that's the other option, right? The other option would just be to choose a time in the history of Middle-earth that was not that was not the War of the Rings, and just make us, a game where you're living in Middle-earth and maybe adventuring. And like, there's lots of options that they could do somewhere earlier in the Third Age, perhaps. Again, that would theoretically be possible, and that might be a perfectly enjoyable sort of game to play. But in the end, the choice that they've made, I've really, really liked. And the way that it keeps you in touch with the story of the Lord of the Rings, so that you are, in fact, getting something quite close to the full experience. But there's also, in a sense, no attempt to, like, replace it, if you see what I mean. Right? It's not trying to be the story of the Lord of the Rings. Like, you're always aware that this isn't the story of the Lord of the Rings. It is simply... but you're aware of the fact that the story of the Lord of the Rings is going on around you. Where's my knife? Is this the knife throwing thing? Hidden knife. Throw a knife, yeah. They changed the picture for that. Oh, darn it. I was hoping not to aggro them all. Well, then... Okay, I'm keeping my eye on my health this time. Okay. Great. Right. Drowsnake says it's the Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead of Lord of the Rings. Yeah, essentially. I mean, like, not essentially, but it's a good parallel. So anyway, I really appreciate that. And for that reason, I really like, that's what I have liked about the Mordor story. Oh, here comes the vision. It looks like a door. There are workers. Who's that? Another worker. What do? We should tell Urudanî. She will want to know about this. Okay, so once again, I'm getting the rediscovery of the door. This is the second time I've gotten this story, but I guess not everybody is like a completionist. Okay, so I'm going to get visions. So these are still visions that seem to be, given the headaches I'm receiving, visions that I'm getting through that statue, right? Anyway, so I love the overall spirit of it, the way in which they've enabled you to do both. You both get the Lord of the Rings story and are a part of that overall narrative. And at the same time, you're also able to just like be in Middle-earth, right? So both versions, both lesser versions of what the game could have been, it accomplishes. And yet also does more, does a third thing on top of that, in the way in which from the beginning, it doesn't just give us the Lord of the Rings story. It enables us to like peek around the backstage of the Lord of the Rings story. And Mordor is a great example of that. The total amount of information that we get about what happens in Mordor after the fall of Sauron is a matter of a handful of paragraphs in the Lord of the Rings. Like, really, if you put it all together, the direct narrative that we get about what happened to Mordor after the Battle of the Black Gate and the destruction of the ring, it would probably fit in a couple pages. So being able to, kind of going in and imagining, I think the most successful element of the Mordor stories so far. And that's one of the things that I am enjoying about this instance and Nargothrond itself and Talath Urui in general, is so I've complained at times past that I have felt like the overall narrative thrust of the Mordor quest lines have been a little bit ambiguous. Like, are we scouts? Are we part of the army? Has Gondor invaded yet or not? Like that, it doesn't, there are places where that has not felt perfectly clear, right? Where I have felt like the narrative of which, our characters are taking a part, a central and crucial part, obviously, has been a little fuzzy, murkier than usual, than has often been the case in their other storylines. And I still think that that's true, but here's the part that I find most satisfying, and have found most rewarding about Mordor. I love the characters. I love how they have built out the world building that they have done to think through Sauron's system of lieutenants and the lieutenants under him. How did Mordor actually work? I agree with them that there had to have been something like this. There had to have been a group of, and I don't mean necessarily like the particular inventions that they have, the Gurzul, for instance, that's totally their invention. There's no real hint of anything like that. Though it's, in Sauron's idiom, right? And so I'm not saying it doesn't fit or doesn't work at all, but I'm just saying it's not based on the text, which is fine. They're filling in blanks there. But certainly as far as Sauron having lieutenants who must also be A, very powerful, and B, really, really unpleasant people, is clear. Like, that has to be the case, because we know Sauron is not somebody who's just doing everything himself. We know that his mind is focused on other things. We know that he has to have built a network around, Rhûn and Harad and everything, all of the work that he's done there. And so their opportunity to imagine the full kind of system and history of Mordor and of Sauron's machine in Mordor, and then thinking through to, and how do they respond to Sauron's destruction, to Sauron's fall? What would happen then, and how would they respond? I think those are really fun questions, and I've enjoyed their answers. And to me, they feel, again, I'm not saying that I love everything about it. It's not my favorite storyline. I mean, many of their others I think have been even more compelling and wonderful. The Passage of the Grey Company is still my number one favorite overall, like, filling in the blanks thing that Lotro has done. However, I think that the Mordor stuff, it works. I can roll with it. I think it works. I think it's fun. I think the idea that he had lots of strong lieutenants makes perfect sense. I think the fact that they would respond to his fall not in despair, but in desperately trying to consolidate their own power and thinking that they could be in charge also makes good sense. Anyway, so that's... So I certainly have not been feeling, since I've been doing Mordor, I have not been feeling that, I'm missing out or something. Like, oh, I wish I were, a part of like I was seeing it right before, the Destruction of the Ring and stuff. Because I've been really enjoying the storyline. I love me a good fill-in-the-blanks adaptation. I think that combination of creative world building and careful reading and analysis of the text, that is a delightfully fun place to be, he says, surprising nobody who's ever heard of the Silmarillion Film Project. So yeah, I think it's, I really enjoy it in that way. And I definitely don't find myself wishing that they had done it otherwise. Okay. I'm going to see if I can fight this dude over here without aggroing that Kyrog, which it looks like I can. So great. Excellent. Now we might need to... No, he's closer to the other one. Oh, yeah, I could take him down pretty easy. Oh, he's running away and hiding. Hang on. I kind of like how he makes a little floating eye of Sauron. Wow, he's doing it. I mean, it's stylish. Anyway, it's annoying, but stylish. Okay. Yeah, Phil, I agree. It's slightly jarring and bittersweet to show up at Midsummer and be greeted by the survivors, particularly on an alt who hasn't done that far yet. Yeah, I agree. I agree. But, I don't know. One of the other balances that they have to strike, of course, and have worked really hard to strike in the game, is between railroading and open world, right? And I admire the balance that they have managed to strike between the two things, right? Just making it a single track with pre-dictated events, right? And leaving an open world. So, I mean, they can't control for everything. Like, they can't, if they made it impossible to do this. I mean, as it is, the fact that, Midsummer in Minas Tirith is in fact confined to Midsummer, is like you have to go out of your way a little bit to get there. So yeah, anyway, I don't have any real criticisms to make when it comes to that stuff. All right, so where are we exactly? Okay, I'm still in the central. Still got a long ways to go because I have to fight everybody. Okay, so I need to boom, boom. Why am I targeting myself? That's just not great. Oh, look, it's down to just you. I seem to have accidentally killed everybody else. Well, not accidentally, I was doing it on purpose, but I just didn't think I had accomplished it yet. Okay. All right. And now we go around the middle again. Right, back to the Court of Horror. I don't understand why I can sneak up on Fire Grims. Like why the Flame Spirits have the AoE, but the Grims don't. Yikes. Okay. All right. I am working my way up. I'm being so methodical and fighting everybody, unlike my normal practice, because it's an instance and I'm trying to be dutiful. Okay. So these new skills are pretty good. I miss my stun everybody trick. That was real handy. But, you know, was he dead already? Man. Okay. Oops. Not the wrong key. It's okay. All right. So it removes disease, wound, fear, poison effect, but apparently does not remove being on fire, which is unfortunate. Okay. Wait, what does this question mark thing do again? Riddle. Daze the enemy briefly. Oh, okay. So I do have another little daze skill. Fine. Good. What's this one? This is Addle? Oh, that's the interrupting inductions one. Okay. All right. I think, yes. That's the bridge that I got to and looked up there and was like, yeah, this is the center boss lair where I'm not going to go because I don't have a quest for it yet. Up there lies, I believe, my final singed page. And we'll see if it's in the instance or not. Oh. These warriors are just gonna pile downstairs? Okay. There's nobody else up here? Do I need to go up here? Upstairs in the Court of Horror? No, it looks empty up here. I'm going to assume that we're moving linearly forward. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but... Okay. 2 leaders, huh? Maybe I should just get them arguing about their conflicting visions. Okay. Who's that? Just another lesser Rogmole, huh? Make your way towards Borangos' inner sanctum. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what this is. Oh, I'm seeing some blue and yellow flames up there. That's starting to look pretty inner sanctum-y. Yep, I think this platform is the inner sanctum. So we gotta cross this bridge. I just look over it. Huge pool of lava, yeah. Alright. Are we inside? Is there a ceiling? There is. So it's technically magma then, right? Alright, flame spirits. Can I aggro you and not the Rogmul? Okay. That'll work. Oh, come on with it. Okay. Good. Now I can sneak up on him. There it is! I found it! And I just completed... What did I complete? Honored in the Conquest of Gorgoroth? Oh, it's a rep level. Great. And I discovered the Strand of Fire and thus completed Nargroth Explorer. Okay, look at that. You know we're getting to the end of the area. Yes. The page is in the instance.
We serve a new lord now. That's what she told me. And we must be suited to the task. That's when I felt the searing heat rip through me, like so many jagged burning blades.
Huh. It won't let me click on the quest while in the instance. It's okay. Well, I was going to wait for story time till after anyhow. Okay, so let's see now. Strand of Fire. Who's this? Another lesser. A lesser Rogmul. Would you turn around, please? Appreciate it. You're very accommodating. All right. Fire Grim. Kairog. Oh, they're fairly oblivious, aren't they? I'm going to take out each of these Grims individually. Trying to be methodical because I don't want to die in this instance again. Have to do the whole thing again. Yeah, this is a high stakes gambit right here. All right. Borangos approaches. Does he? Where? Oh, but this is... Okay, so this is the inner sanctum. It's not like an island out here. It's a whole keep. Fun. Find a suitable place to hide? Oh, okay. Like maybe this glowing place? Let events transpire. Okay. I'm going to stay over here. All right. Oh, here we go. Oh, right. We've got text. I can barely see it. All right, hang on. The incident at Nairbon. Do I have your assurance the Uruk will not step out of line again? Good. Thraknul is an unknowing ally. Let him work for us until he is no longer of use. Continue to bind him around your flame, Urudanî. Dorosul has informed me of the recent intruder in Nargroth. I do not believe it is worth pursuing one hobbit at this moment. Now, Urudanî, we must be patient. The time is coming. I have been waiting for this moment ever since you freed me from my prison. Really? Fascinating. While all those in Mordor seek land, riches, and power, I seek something greater. Okay. Urudanî. Not the mountain that stands on the plains of Gorgoroth, but what lies beneath it. Oh, cool. What gives our realm its strength and drives me? You will find out this in due time, my most devoted. Oh, so this is not a historical tale we're getting. We're getting a this is current events. Come, we have much more to accomplish. All right. Cool. So that's really interesting. So first of all, let me say what's really interesting about that. One of the things that they're leaning into here, which is a really cool thing, is a question. It's not a question that the text forces on you, but it's a question I think that the text invites. And that is, it's a question that the text invites, and that is, why Urudanî? We're told that the Sammath Naur, the cracks of doom, are like the center of Sauron's power. But it invites a kind of chicken and the egg question, right? Did Sauron choose Urudanî because of something about it? Or is it special now just because he chose it, right? Is it merely invested with Sauron's own power to such an extent that it has gained the significance? Like, remember how it suppressed the power, like the File of Galadriel wouldn't even shine there and everything. And of course, the effect that proximity to it demonstrably has on the ring as it approaches. So it's the center of Sauron's power. So as I say, the text doesn't demand it. The text doesn't actually compel us to ask the question, which came first, right? Sauron's power or the power of Urudanî. Did he choose that place for a reason? Is it special just because he chose it, or did he choose it because it's special? The answer, Lotro's answer to that question, is apparently the latter. He chose it because it's special. And I think that's definitely a more fun story. And I was wondering where the Borangos plot was headed. That is to say, it made all kinds of sense, as I was saying before, for Lotro to imagine, okay, the Mouth of Sauron is one of several. The Witch King, obviously, and the Mouth of Sauron. These were lieutenants of Sauron's. There were probably others, and what might they be like, and how did they get there, and then the Gurzul and everything. Again, all of it makes sense, right? Borangos, though, was a curveball. That was unexpected. It really went in a different direction. Here is this spirit of fire, independent of Sauron, analogous to Sauron in a sense, analogous in the sense that Borangos seems to be an independent spirit creature, a Maya of great power, who might possibly have served Morgoth, and we don't know anything of his history. Maybe he wasn't. He seems to certainly have been corrupted at some point. But maybe he's a free agent corrupted spirit, like Ungoliant or something like that, right? So learning more about Borangos' history is one of the things that I'm very interested, of course, to do as we move forward. Them inserting that plot, though, the Borangos plot, here in Talath Urui into the middle of everything else, it kind of muddied things a bit, right? Especially the way that he came in and overpowered Urudanî, one of Sauron's lieutenants, and yet she stayed one of his lieutenants, and Sauron works out a deal with him. So on the one hand, one of the kind of minimum plot goals that they might have accomplished in the Borangos plotline would have been to explore Sauron's relationship not with his the servants that are the servants of his will, like the Rigwraiths, nor even with slaves that he has dominated, like the orcs, nor even with collaborators, right, who have allied themselves with him, like the mouth of Sauron, the Black Númenorian. But what about other free agents? Because, of course, you see what the Borangos story kind of brings into play. Questions partially raised in the text, but generally not addressed in detail in the text. What would Sauron's relationship, how would Sauron's relationship have worked with Smaug? What, if any, would have been Sauron's relationship with the Balrog of Moria? Right? Those are two other examples of creatures who would be potentially his peers. Probably under his sway, Gandalf assumes that Smaug would do Sauron's bidding, and that Smaug would have become a weapon which would have been deployed by Sauron. So maybe Gandalf is implying that Sauron would have dominated Smaug and not. But it's also possible that they just would have made a deal as peers, as allies. It's a little bit uncertain. It's even less uncertain. It's even less uncertain how he would have gotten on with the Balrog. Would the Balrog have given him the time of day? How dominant would he be able to be over the Balrog? Anyway, these are questions, right? Questions unanswered by the text, but always really interesting to think about. Of course, it's something that we've already thought about a bit in my Exploring the Lord of the Rings class, as we've been going through Moria and thinking intermittently about the Balrog. Even before that on Carothros, it came up. However, again, we don't have much more data about this. The Borangos plotline, you can see the relevance of that, right? Borangos seems to be another creature on that level, somewhere around the level of the Balrogs, certainly, and possibly higher than Smaug. And we're told already, we've been told in brief in the story, that Sauron and Borangos made some kind of accommodation, right? So seeing what we just overheard from Borangos implies to me that Borangos himself did not accept a subservient relationship to Sauron, but even potentially that he was trying to exploit Sauron, that he was running a game, he was playing a long game with Sauron himself. And if so, it would be really interesting to see that. So anyway, so I am more interested in the Borangos storyline here in Mordor than of any other of the Mordor storylines that I've seen. It's really cool. I think it's really exciting. Yeah, cool. Anyway, all right. All right, I can now advance this quest. This Uruk, now a Rashai called Tumak Smoke Drinker, witnessed the battle between Urudanî Stone Maiden and Borangos the Horror, and then he was changed. If Borangos can cause such a change in Urudanî and his Uruks, who knows what other powers he possesses? Yes. And now my 4th volume is complete. And it's almost story time. Oh, right. That's this stuff, right? That I don't understand what it means. Oh, look, I can claim some more things that I don't know what they are. Hey, I don't know what that means. Hooray. Okay. Okay. So there are 2 more up through 21 that 2 more things to claim, and then I'll have all the things. Though, again, I don't know what the tokens of service are. But I think these are quests, right? So I'm going to go back and I'm going to do all the rest of the Hobbit quests for the Hobbit Allegiance when I finish. Because I assume that when I finish Agarnaith, I'll get to claim these 2. So then I'll go and do those quests after that. What is this tab? Oh, the Jelruka clan. Sure, not there yet. Okay. All right. Well, let's go. Before it's almost story time, but let's finish up the quests first. Because wait, I did finish the quest deed, didn't I? Oh, not what I was looking for. That's what I was looking for. Mordor, Gorgoroth, completed. Yep, quest of Talath Urui. There it is. Which means, I think that, so I've got 5 out of the 8 Tales of Gorgoroth. Complete chapter 4. Well, I've been stuck on 3.3 to 3.1 to 3.4 for a heck of a long time now. Complete the Talath Urui quest under the fires of Druid, which is what I'm doing. Great. Okay. And then Agarnaith. All right. Good. Yeah. So I'm on the way there. And 4 out of my 8 volumes. I'm halfway. I've got half of the stories. I think I'm going to have to do the others. I can't see any way around it. How could I not? There's not an overall like quests of Gorgoroth deed where I could complete all the quest deeds and all the, I guess that's theoretically the Tales of Gorgoroth one, right? Not really. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I know. I will. I figured the Jelruka one would come up specially, so. Okay, all right. It's near.
Oh my! This is indeed worrying.
Isn't it? You say that Borangos has some sort of plan that involves Mount Doom? Nothing good can come of this. The more we study the mountain, the more I fear it to not be natural. Its fires seem to have strange properties. Sauron must have been behind these flames, but will the mountain slowly fade in Sauron's death? Bright flames still flow from chambers within. Orodruin seems to be just as active as ever. It may be some time before we can act upon this enemy, but rest assured, I will start discussion with those of rank in Udun. I thank you for bringing this to our attention. We shall speak again soon. Ooh, and I get pants. Oh yeah, it's the Towers one. Oh, it's the matching leisure suit. Right. And that's it. Oh, I've got to go back to talk to Thurindol because that one ranger who gave me every single quest for the entire thing, the entire area of Talath Urui. Okay. By the way, what level is this quest? 112. I'm fully 5 ahead of it now. I'm asking because I may get to 118, but probably I'll be okay in Agarnaith, right?
Come.
I think he's at Magh Ashtu. If he's not there, I'll just mithril coin to him. Wait, there is a quest of the Plateau meta-deed? Why don't I have it yet? Because I've completed 4 of the side deeds. All right, Thurindol, I've completed your impossible do all the quests quest.
Now then.
And you're just going to give me additional... I just got Pathfinder's fine camels, and you're going to give me second-hand Pathfinder camels? That is... I am so disappointed in you, Thurindol. You described the immense structures encountered to Thurindol. I feared this much. This Rogmul known as Borangos appears to have total control over this realm. While he seems content on ignoring us at the present moment, it will not be long before he looks in the direction of Gondor. For that day, we will need to be ready. I'm just going to sell him anyway. I have received word that Hrodrog will be joining Fyron of the Grey Company. They have been assigned to Agarnaith, the horrid swamp on the other side of the mountain. When your work is finished here, you may wish to go and lend them a hand. They have set up camp on the edge of the bog north of here. It's not actually north of here. I mean, it's like due east of here. That's weird. All right, so I got my vector quest to Agarnaith. I believe that officially concludes Talath Urui. So here's what I'm going to do. First of all, I'm going to go back inside. And we're going to sit with the Rangers. And we're going to have story time. Because that's how we celebrate finishing Talath Urui. All right, Gryfflet. Story time. Here we go. Oh, look at that. Did that give me my last two things? No, just one. 5 more tokens of service that I don't understand. Great. Awesome. Pants that... Oh, I do want the pants. Ooh, much more light of Thurindol. I totally want these pants. Those are good pants. All right. Story time. Word is we move out tomorrow. Lug Boars wants more citadels built to refortify the southern plain, now that the hateful men of Gondor are swept out. Me and my boys are taking orders from that Urudanî stone maiden. You can smell the stink of arrogance on all these black Númenórean types. She's got us off in Talath Urui, digging an underground fortress out of the Mithrim. Ah, but the heat down below. You'd think we were digging into Mount Doom itself. The slaves keep collapsing and asking for water. We have a good laugh at them and then whip them back to work. The construction on the upper floors has started, but something happened today. We seem to have dug into a large chamber, separate from the main cavern. There's runes carved all around on the walls, the floor, the ceiling. Mistress Urudanî finds them interesting enough. If it were up to me, we'd leave them well enough alone. Here's what you get for poking your nose where it shouldn't go. That Urudanî woman had some slaves digging into the floor of the ruined chamber, and the next thing you know, it was flames everywhere. Well, those slaves were ash faster than you could cut a throat, and not a few orcs and uruks, too. Orcs and uruks, huh? Well, to this day, I'll never quite know what happened next. There was a roaring voice, and Urudanî's all defiant as ever. Whatever it was, she fought it, and I don't think she won. There was still fire and heat everywhere in that wreckage, mind you, and most of the orcs and slaves were dead as roast pigs. I reckoned our fool of a headmistress was, too. So imagine my surprise when at last I thought I found my way out of all the flames and debris, and there Urudanî was. She was Urudanî, and not Urudanî. Can't find a plainer way to say it. She was wreathed in flame. No, she was made of flame. And when she bade me halt, I sure as well did it. Sure as well, huh? We serve a new lord now, that's what she told me. And we must be suited to the task. That's when I felt the searing heat rip through me like so many jagged, burning blades. Gosh, hi, that's what we've become. Me and the boys, left living after all the fires and falling stone, we're strong. Stronger than we've ever been, with arms and bones of flame. Strength and fire aside, we Gosh High and the Lady Urudanî are still at it, if you can believe it, building the citadel of Nargroth. Work's nearly done. And the strangest of all, we still serve the Eye. Or at least, that's what our new master says. All commands come down from him to Urudanî. Nar, orders are orders. That's what I've always said. Okay, yeah, I know. I was treading the line there close with my Urudanî voice. Or sorry, my Glaowina voice. It's true. I'm still going to do them again for Durin, because that's a tradition now. All right. So that's really interesting. That last paragraph was the part that I liked best. I mean, the rest of it was interesting especially the fact that they did it from the point of view of the orcs. But I was interested to see that business about we still serve the eye, or at least that's what Borangos says, right? Again, I think their implication is that Borangos was gaming Sauron in some way. Okay. So wait, where am I going? I know what I'm going to do. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do, now that we're done with Talath Urui, is I'm going to go talk to Ayorzén, and I'm going to progress the epic and see if the epic takes me into Agarnaith. And so if it takes me into Agarnaith, then I'll go and do those in parallel. If the epic seems to be taking me out of Mordor and up into the Iron Hills or similar, then to Northern Mirkwood or whatever, then I will then I'll hold off and go do Agarnaith first. So Edith, as I recall, were there Gashai in Mordor, in Moria? I thought there were there were down in the Flaming Deeps, weren't there? Yeah, I kind of skipped over that part. But so, what I would take this to be? So you'll remember in Moria, remember the fungus orcs? There was a certain amount of storyline given. The Globsnaga, exactly. The fungus slaves, basically. So they gave some backstory there, and that seemed to be just like a local corruption. Like the mushrooms down in that area were all they infected the orcs and whatever. As I recall, I don't remember in great detail, but I don't think there was any outside agency. I think it was just something funky happened to the orcs down here because of the nasty stuff. But in any case, I don't remember there being a clear backstory. Maybe I'm wrong, and it's been a long time since I've really done the quests in the Flaming Deeps in Moria, so I might be forgetting. But I don't remember any coherent backstory, not a backstory of this kind, like where there was an agent like this, where they were infected, or converted, really, transformed. But this seems to me an example of, I feel like the Borangos story is a far kind of deeper world building story than most of what we got in Moria about this kind of stuff. The Iron Garrison story was good. But the world building of the terrain, place by place in Moria, I think wasn't as thorough as they've been here. Basically, I think that it's the difference between the Gashai in Moria and the Gashai in Mordor seems to me primarily to be the difference of just increasing skill, right? Like they're doing better. Like their storylines are getting better as they go, and it's possible that they could retrofit it easily enough to make it work. But yeah, JJ, you think I should create a new character and play through again to check? Yeah, that would be like the tried and true Tolkien approach, right? Go back to the beginning and start over. Okay. Anyway, let's go back to the epic. See how we get on from here. Okay. Little help, Gandalf. Mithrandir has heard an unsettling rumor of a threat growing in Agarnaith, the bloody gore. Yes, that's why I stopped here. Okay, great. And I'm supposed to ask Ayorzén about it, right?
Some vile work is being conducted in Agarnaith.
I do not like our Easterling's silence on this matter. You must go to Agarnaith and learn what transpires within, but do not go alone. I believe you should bring Ayorzén with you and find out what he knows about the bloody gore. Okay, Ayorzén the wily.
You have not sought my help in some time.
I was beginning to think you had fallen into a hole or blundered into the fire lake or forgotten the way back here. What is it you want? You tell Ayorzén that you need his help on the next leg of your journey and ask him to accompany you to Agarnaith. A sudden look of panic crosses his face, but it passes just as quickly. When next he speaks, his voice is loud and confident, and no sign of his seeming fright remains. I have come to a decision, my friend. I will be happy to accept your previous and very generous offer of a place in Gondor. Your forgiveness and acceptance of Ayorzén the Changed will become a thing of legend, Gryfflet, and will be spoken of for centuries as an example to all. I will let the wagon driver know. Sadly, I will be unable to accompany you to the Bloody Gore, perhaps another time. Oh, that's it, huh? We're just going to take no for an answer, are we, Mithrandir? Does Gandalf say something different now?
Agarnaith may be approached from the north or from the south.
And adventurers have sought to gain entrance from either direction. You may do the same. Of course, they all failed, and it probably won't work, but I will cheerfully send you off in that direction anyway.
It is a pity that I cannot accompany you. Perhaps another time.
Oh, yeah, I'll take you right up on that, Ayorzén. Ayorzén the Unwilling. Fine. Okay, so... gain entrance from the north or from the south. Well... oh, that's right, because I neglected to go up and... or did I? Did I open up the Stable Master in Agarnaith? I have a feeling that I did. I didn't do it the first time, but I think I did it the second time I went to Nargothrond. Let's see.
We are Gondor's eyes and
Yes,
Gondor's
I did.
swords in this place.
Okay. Excellent. Hey, found the Agarnaith Ranger Camp. And now it is time to pick up the bloodstained pages that are just sitting here. Oh, yes. You found a torn page of a tome, damp and bloodstained from the marshes. Perhaps you can find other pages around Agarnaith. Maybe I can find 16 of them. Yes. Except...
in the south, the Great Plague raged across Ithilien and Anorian both. And by the time all was done, had claimed the lives of paupers, knights, bread bakers, and kings.
Bread bakers. Okay. Gotcha. I thought it was like red bakers. And I'm like, what's a red baker?
In the northern lands, between the plague and the Witch King, toppled were kingdoms of men.
Right.
Their vestiges scattered and fled.
So we're going to be getting into some of the bigger picture Mordor strategies. Oh, there's another one? They're just strewn liberally about the landscape round here. I've got an embarrassment of page riches.
These are names, O sisters, of lands where Lyrith's great plague laid waste. Rovanion and Gondor, the remnants of Arnor, the northern kingdoms of Cardolan and Arthedain.
Okay. Alright, so we got some big picture history going on in this fifth book. I can't wait. Hey guys! Thereon and Hradrog.
A word with you.
Oh, what's the level of this quest? Where'd it go? I thought it said on this page. Doesn't say. Interesting. Hail, Gryfflet. Good to see you again. Welcome to Agarnaith, possibly the deadliest place in Mordor. We have almost no knowledge of this sinister landscape, and several foolhardy adventurers have already gotten themselves killed by running in blind. The partnership of a Dunedain and an Ithilien ranger should prove more successful if Rodrog here can show skill in this venture. I have high expectations. I intend to do this right and discover what threats to the free peoples lurk within. Excellent, man. That's great. Okay. Let's see. All right, just checking for things here. Oh, see, look. I got that quest in my pending loot. How does that even work? But that's all right. What deed did I give us to quests of Agarnaith? Okay. One quest. Okay. And I completed Hobbits of the Company Allegiance level 20. Great. Appreciate that. Okay. I am so beyond tracking my rep. Okay. Let me milestone this. And collect my first Agarnaith quest. I know the first one was the Vector, but why can't I click on you, Fyron? What's your problem? I don't know what was up there.
Agarnaith, the bloody gore.
You know what I like about that? I love the pun, right? So if you said to just somebody, if you said the phrase, the bloody gore, to any modern English speaking person, they wouldn't even know it was a pun, right? They would just think it was like, of course, like if it's gore, it's bloody, right? Like we don't use the word gore in any other way. But you will remember that Tolkien uses the word in Lothlorien, remember? The Nithe or the gore. Nithe was the Elvish word for piece of land like a spearhead between two rivers, the center and heart of Lothlorien, where Caros Galathon is. And so gore, the way he uses it, you can tell he's translating in the way that Tolkien often does, right? When he gives you the same name and the same word in multiple languages. Gore is the English word. But of course, it's an English word that I would wager almost 100% of Tolkien readers only know from that passage, right? Okay, maybe not 100, maybe 99. Gore is a sewing term too. See, that's really interesting. Does it mean the same thing, Edith? Like a V sort of thing? Anyway, yeah. But so gore has been given a name, like a geographical name. Now, actually, Druid's Fire, I am not sure. I think it's possible that gore and gorge are actually unrelated words. They sound very much alike. I'm not positive about that. I am not a linguist or an etymologist, and so I don't know very much about these things. But I would not take for granted that those two words are closely linked together, apart from their sound in English. In any case, point is, Tolkien has already used the word gore in this geographical sense, meaning a region usually like in the midst of two rivers. And also there's also this sense of like the inner sanctum, right? Again, at least in a Lothlorien context, that's how it was being used. So when they in Lotro use the phrase the bloody gore, it's a pun, right? It's just, it is the gore, that part of land, which is bloody, right? But of course, gore in the modern sense works perfectly well. It's a triangular piece of fabric in sewing. Well, there you go. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. So, because yeah, let's see. Do we get? No, not Fangorn. Oh, it's in Rovanian. I forgot. Lothlorien. It's right on the border there. Yeah, so they make it like a circle in the game. And it is a round city. Yeah, with the trees, you can't really tell where the rivers go in here. But that's the implication, is that it's a wedge of land that you've got to cross one of two rivers in order to get to. So there's a natural barrier to cross over before you get into the inner part of Lothlorien, where the city of Carscalathon is set. So anyway, yes, that's the sense in which he's using the word gore. Tolkien uses the word gore. And that's what the bloody gore means. That's why they call it that. It's just the land. It's what they. And so if we go back to Mordor and Gorgoroth and Agarnaith, I'm not really seeing multiple rivers here either, unless it's understood to be like this whole area, there's the narrow part of land. Anyway, yeah, it's not clear that it's gore-like exactly. But it's certainly a fun pun. Okay. The Nurnhoth have spoken to us in Udun and are terrified. We have spoken to in Udun, are terrified of this place. They mention a stronghold called Saragost, the Blood Fort, but we do not know where it is or what lies within. The secrecy around here is as thick as the fog rolling off the swamp. Rodrog and I are about to depart on our first scouting pass and could surely use another set of eyes. Primarily, we're looking for a safe path deeper into the bog. Okay. I am scouting locations. Oh, okay. I thought that Rodrog might have some quests for me. Oh, we're investigating flora and fauna. Tell me about the flora. You may have noticed Agarnaith has a bit more plant life than the rest of Mordor. Not only that, but it's all a bit alien. While you are exploring the mire, will you investigate the new species of vegetation you come across? We should know what we are getting into before we move into the denser swampland. We get to investigate thorny vines, spewing mushrooms, bleeding saplings, weeping reeds, and pungent flowers. Okay. Tell me about the fauna. Since this area is rich in plant life, it is almost certain animals take refuge here as well. See if you can find any and test your strength against them. Our chances of survival and successfully uncovering the swamp's secrets increase as we learn more about this unusual place. Okay, I get to look for diseased swamp boars, plagued direwolves, infectious plague rats, Agarnaith gore crows, and swarming plague flies. I believe that a gore crow is more in the modern meaning of gore. Like the bloody crows, the crows that feed upon gore. All right. Oh, look at all that. I've got so many things, and as always, the legend is in an inconvenient spot. Okay. All right, I've got a plagued direwolf right over there, and a gore crow, I suspect. Yeah. What are these? Plague fly swarms? Do I have a brief for the plague flies? Oh, yeah, I do. Okay. All right. All right, I'm excited. Now, the epic quest is just to gain entrance. So I think probably this is my boundary here. Linadar and Eradrog. You found the adventurers that entered Agarnaith from the southern approach. So what do we have? A Gondorian dude and another Gondorian dude.
I do not like this place.
No. No. It does not seem fun.
Did Mithrandir send you to us?
Are you here to help us, Gryfflet? Did Mithrandir send you to us? Only a wizard could know the trouble we have been in since we arrived, and send such aid as you in time. Ronaleg planned to rejoin us soon, but he has not yet found us. Enemies lurk everywhere in the swamp, and they can ensnare you even before you know they are there. I have never seen horrors such as these before, and I am no stranger to bogs. Bogs unpleasant and mires malicious. And word order reversed. If the tales I have heard of you are true, you should be able to best even the foes that stalk this swamp, Gryfflet. I hope it is so. Defeat any you can, and Linadar and I will meet you further north along the road, not far from where the eastern road runs away into the swamp. Okay, here I just have a remit for foul creatures. Okay. I assume it doesn't really matter whether you come from north or south. I think the drakes. Good. I can avoid the drakes. Alright, there's a plagued direwolf. And they're 114. Great, so it's not going to matter if I level up. And these are 114. And good, so it goes up to 115. The lost lore is 115. So I should be clear all the way up to 119, in fact. 4 above is where I like to be. Okay, so I already got it. I collected a direwolf. I'll collect a gore crow. Alright, I just need a boar, a rat, and some flies. There were flies over here. Let me go find those. Oh yeah, there they are. I know I'm going to need more than this. And there's a plague rat. Okay. I might as well, get the one of each. Okay. I only need a boar, and I already have the complete set. Is that a boar? That looks like a boar. Oh, yes. Okay. Well, that was easy. No, you won't turn around because you have spotted me. After completing your survey of the area, you conclude that the animals of Agarnaith are quite dangerous. They all seem to be infected with some sort of disease, driving them into a ravenous frenzy. You will include this note in your scouting report. I have made a complete report. Well, not quite. I have to do the fauna next, or the flora next, rather. Okay. The flora all seem to be... No. Oh, look, a spewing mushroom. This mushroom is spewing spores into the air. Keep your distance. Okay, the weeping reeds. When touched, these reeds release a noxious liquid. Yeah, these things are sprinkled liberally all through this area. Here's the bleeding sapling. Bleeding saplings which have a strong literary heritage. Starting in the Aeneid. Leaking a strange blood-colored sap. Wait, are blood and words emerging together? That's what they do in Dante. So you have, in the Aeneid, there's a bleeding, talking tree. And then, it's not really a tree. It's a dead dude. And then Dante takes the bleeding tree motif and reuses it in the Circle of the Suicides in Hell. And then Spencer takes it from Dante and Virgil and redoes it himself. Good fun. So Spencer's Fairy Queen, the Aeneid of Virgil, and Dante's Inferno all contain bleeding saplings. A pungent flower. The smell of this flower makes your eyes water. So what I'm finding so far is that the fauna all seem to have evidence of having been corrupted, and the flora is showing evidence of being the instruments, or the vehicles, perhaps I should say, the media of corruption. The foliage begins to thicken as you head north. Oh, was that one of my locations? I see. Right, because here I am. I found the road again. I thought this was like a river, but it's in fact stone. Okay. Yeah, how many? Oh, I just need a thorny vine, and that's up there apparently. Okay. Hang on a second. Let me just follow the path back. I was wandering all through the swamp. There might be more pages, because those bloody pages were everywhere, you know what I mean? I want to make sure I didn't miss any bloody pages along the path. You've wanted to read the Fairy Queen for a long time? Phil? Yeah, Fairy Queen. It's marvelous. It's so good. I predict that someday we're going to end up doing the Fairy Queen in Mythgard Academy, and I further predict it's going to take a long time. Because it's 1,000 pages long. I think we'll probably have to do it in a couple different sections. But I love... It's longer than Mallory. Substantially longer than Mallory. And it's all poetry. It's rhyming stanzas. Gorgeous rhyming stanzas. Yeah. I mean, it's... I think... Well, yeah, whenever you say something like the longest poem in the English language, there's always a kind of a tacit qualification, right? Like longest good poem in the English language, on account of, like, I'm sure there's probably somewhere some crazy person who has like foisted like a worse like a horrible, completely interminable, even longer poem on people, and nobody like knows or has read it. But in any case, it's very long. The Fairy Queen, really fun. The middle parts of it especially our slog. But book 4 is the main slog in the Fairy Queen. Book 1 is the classic. Book 1 is the part that everybody reads. Sure enough, another page. Staying on the road.
Slowly, wondrously, the land changed. Trees blistered and wept. Streams ran dark and then red. New things limped and anguished there. Broken veil no more. It was Agarnaith, the bloody gore.
Hey, that must be an advanced page. No. That was 6? Huh. Interesting. Okay, well, this is a very confined region, so hopefully they'll be harder to find. I'm a little bit surprised by the fact. I expected that, because I still do have to kill 7 more of those things. I thought that while I was looking for the plants, I would end up having to, like, you know, that there'd be like animals right nearby that I have to fight. But I've managed to find all the plants without fighting anything else. The thorns on this vine are razor sharp. The flora within Agarnaith is indeed very strange and potentially hazardous. You will include this information in your scouting report. No good. Ooh, hang on. Got another Thurindol upgrade. Okay. Look at that. Look how far in the white I am now. That's right. The Shadow of Mordor's got nothing on me. Okay. So I think what I'll do is I'll finish the scouting and then I will pretty much be done. I'll finish the scouting. Oh, yeah, I'm not even stealthed. That was clever. How about I fight this guy then? Ooh, I can see a structure over there. Am I right in thinking that that structure that I spy up there is an evil Tudor house? Like in Angmar? Oh, come on, don't run away. Yeah, so these creatures are not so bad. Okay. Where's the path? Oh, here it is. I found it. Okay. And that's where I left it. Didn't miss any more pages. All right. I'll finish the scouting. Take out 4 more quick. Three more quick beasties on the way back. Okay, here's our northern friends. I thought they might be hoarding another bloodstained page.
In the distant depths of time, before us, before Mordor, memory whispers of her first poisons, concocted in service to Sauron, laying low rivals and foes.
All right, that was 2. From here, the path leads into Doromarth and to the ruins of Barad-dûr. Oh yeah, I got green mobs up here. Okay, so that was the northern approach. Oh. I'm glad I persevered in this direction.
Their towers taken, their watch weakened. Gondor lowered its blade from Mordor's neck and crouched cravenly behind its shield. All this from Lyrith's great plague. The hateful men of Gondor were thinned and driven from their walls and towers. All that they left, Moonfort and River Palace, the Dark Lord took.
Okay, so that was cheating because these are in Doromarth. They really shouldn't be here. That's just not right. I don't approve. But that's okay. Okay. All right. We're doing great with the pages. I've already gotten... I've got almost half of the pages now. Okay, didn't I have one more over here? Yeah. Uh-oh. All right. I said uh-oh because we've got mobs with quest rings, which the exploration one is going to bring me to. An infected troll. That can't be good. All right. Now I just need the 3rd and the 5th locations. Starts quest, infected troll. Okay. Where's his head? Oh, there's his head. Yeah, there's something deeply wrong with you, man. All right, he looks like one of the fungus trolls. While scouting the wilds of Agarnaith, you stumble upon a diseased troll. You decide that it is for the best to prevent this dangerous beast from harming others before continuing your soggy journey through thorn and thicket. Okay. I did. The lumbering troll was defeated. I've never had that, but I think it's the first time it's ever happened to me, where you have to defeat a creature in order to start the quest, but you only needed the one creature, so you've also completed it. Like that, that's literally never happened to me before. But you are alarmed to find dangerous creatures becoming even more threatening upon contracting this mysterious disease. You have a feeling further horrors await you deeper in Agarnaith. Pathfinder's cloak, huh? Okay. Woohoo! And there it is. Okay, so firstly, let's see it. That's awful. Well, I'm not putting it on if it looks exactly the same as the other one. Forget it. I will accept my very modest upgrade. Okay. Fine. Yeah, no, the quests were just from the leveling, the automatic quest. Okay. Plague Slayer of Agarnaith. Okay. Sure. Slayer Deed. Okay, nothing weird in my pending loot. Alright. then let me go over. Where was that? Oh yeah, right over here. There's no path in this direction, but it seems dry enough to continue. Ah, infected orcs. And blight mushrooms. Infected orcs. In your scouting of Agarnaith, you encounter some strange orcs. They show signs of disease, and their behavior is especially erratic. You decide that you should defeat them rather than risk another dangerous encounter later. The rangers back at the camp should be made aware of this threat. I only need 5 of them, huh? Hey, look, I found another one. Okay. Plagued ash claw? Alright. I don't have a quest for the blight mushrooms. Nor is it proffering me a quest for the blight mushrooms. Alright, but I gotta go. I'm late. So let me just head to the 3rd location down here. What, there's a camp over here? Well, I assume I'll get to it. Okay. Oh, I'm almost to the 3rd location. An Uruk fort guards the path deeper into Agarnaith. Meet up with Thereon and Rodrog near the ranger camp. Okay. I just wanted to head towards it. I'm sure there's more pages inside. All right. So, next time, which I believe I will be here next week, as far as I know. There's still a little bit of uncertainty in my life this month. But next week, we shall return and see how far we can get into Agarnaith. We've gotten a good beak. We've totally finished Talath Urui today. We're advancing the epic quest. We are we're advancing the epic quest. We are making progress here in Agarnaith. So next time, back to Agarnaith, see how we can advance the story, see how this connects with, I hope we don't just leave Borangos aside forever. So I'll be very keen to pursue that storyline a little bit further and see how these unfold. But as we're now getting towards the end of Gorgoroth, this is our last section in Gorgoroth itself. We'll see how this goes. I remember, well, we'll see. We'll see how things turn. All right. Yeah, no, I don't want to know. I'm keen to discover as I go through. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, everybody, for joining me today. Sorry again for being late. I plan and hope to be with you again next week, though, when we shall get through as much of Agarnaith as I have the chance to do. All right. Thanks, everybody. Stay tuned for Druid's Fire. She'll be with you in a few minutes, and I will see you guys again soon. Bye now. Thanks for joining in on my rambles around Standing Stone's brilliant digital adaptation of Tolkien's world. If you enjoy these adventures, please consider supporting this and other entertaining educational programming by donating at signumuniversity.org/fund.